they spread like wildfire, and you have a almost total cataclysm. Only a few animals survive, and a few hundred years later, the whole earth is again populated with animals and plants and trees and so on and so on and so on. And you won't find almost a trace from the cataclysm.
Sounds like a party we don't want to miss. All right, so the next question is mine. Is there any evidence that the winding occurs in other solar systems as well? Is it possible to predict extrasolar cataclysms and observe them? Any idea why the pole equator divergence in other suns is not used for detecting extrasolar planets? Is it possible to witness this kind of magnetic break in other stars?
Yes, they have already seen that there is a differential rotation. This means that the rotation at the equator is not the same like on the polar. And they have seen that by several other suns. And normally it should be with every other sun. So the same cataclysm that happens in our solar system should happen on all the other suns from the whole galaxy. And they have seen it because the last years there are several suns that had a huge activity during two or 3 days, and then they went back to normal. So I think these suns had the same thing that will happen with us next year.
Interesting. So does it seem like they're seeing the explosions and they just don't know what they're looking at?
Yeah, they see a huge sun activity on other solar systems, and they can't explain what is happening. So, but if I remember exactly, I think in the last 5 years there were 4 of these events that were seen, and they happened during a very short time, 2 or 3 days. Just what I'm expecting to happen with us next year, and they can't explain it. So, but they stated that if this happens on our solar system, that not many people can survive such a cataclysm.
Oh, okay, I see. Thank you. The next one's mine. Do you expect the unwinding to be restricted in duration and intensity to its mirror image opposite from 12-21-12? In other words, a large release and a sudden return to normalcy, continue with violent action based on some other criteria?
I think based on what we have seen on the other solar system, it will be a short duration, 2 or 3 days, but the intensity will be a lot higher than the last time. So the Earth crust slide that the last time put the United States from the polar circle to the equator will be a lot more. So if happens what I expect, then almost 50% of the United States will go under the polar circle. And the devastation will be, well, enormous. Not only that, I talked about it, but it was not recorded because my computer fell out. I have to say that I talked with people about the meltdown of the nuclear reactors, and at once somebody remarked, and he said, look, he said, there is also a lot of stored nuclear fuel that is cooled down. If the electricity fails, like NASA says, then also that stored nuclear fuel will melt down, and if that happens, that is 10 times worse than all the nuclear reactors melting down. So, we don't not only have the natural cycle that will be a lot stronger than the last time, but we will also have possibly the total destruction of all existing life at this moment at the Earth, because the specialist said if that happens, the radioactivity will be so large that it is possible that nobody and even only a small amount of animals will survive this cataclysm.
I see.
Thank you. Sorry.
Do you mind if I ask a follow-up question? Just a real short one. I just wanted to know if, so it sounds like you're saying that once the December 21st explosion occurs, that the activity should die down from the sun. That the sun is satisfied at that point, and
no. I think it will be 2 days, maximum 3 days that it happens,
and then we're done.
And then it will go down, and then we will have very few solar activity afterwards, maybe for tens of years, because in the old manuscripts from the Maya, they stated that you couldn't see the sun for almost 40 years. That is because of the outburst of the volcanic ash in a cloud around the Earth, and that mimics the sun, but also it was cold, and that could be because of the solar activity going down. Like we saw the last year, there was very low solar activity, and I expect that to happen again in 2013. That's one of the reasons, if you want to survive, that you need to be as close as possible to the equator, because the closer you will be to the equator, the warmer it will be.
I see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Edison. Thank you, Patrick. I guess we have to stock up on vitamin D. The next question is for Lua.
Thank you. Patrick, in regard to the 87-day cycle, do you think we should be watching only for the negative sunspots rather than the more well-known and more normal activity of CMEs and solar flares? In other words, was it this new phenomenon of negative sunspots that the Maya were warning us about?
Yes, these negative sunspots, they appeared just right on the Mayan date, and the explosion was also on the Mayan date. So, but the other, I already told, I can't explain the magnetic forces from the other sunspots. I do think that they are related to the movement of the planets, and that the Maya knew a very maybe easy and clever way to calculate all the sunspots, but I am not able to do that. Do we need to see the sunspot activity? Well, I do think that we know enough at any moment in time, and I mean it can be tomorrow, it can be next week, can be a Carrington effect that is known, and then it's over and out for everybody. So I think we have more than enough material to start for our basic survival, and that is what I am doing, and that is what I am hoping that other people also will do. You don't have to watch the solar activity, just start doing precautions and try to. There are mountains in the United States, so anybody can try. Even if you don't have that much money, you can try. Everything is possible, you know.
Thank you, Patrick. Leo, you have a question for Patrick.
Yes, thank you, Jules. Patrick, magnetic changes not only affect Earth, which you state in your theory might flip the Earth's magnetic field, but also humans are magnetically sensitive creatures. Our culture seems to have amnesia, and many of us do not remember the last pole shift except through legends and myths. Also, there's the story of Babel in the book of Genesis, which states that after the great flood, the people lost the ability to communicate with each other. Could the coming magnetic storms from the sun do that, and could we all lose our memories, or worse, have permanent lobotomies because of this magnetic effect?
Well, I expect to be indeed that we will have problems with that, but I think most of the animals will have a lot more problems than we have, because they use the magnetic field. Most of the animals use the magnetic field to find their way. So I think more animals will be affected than humans. We also will be affected, but I think we can better resist it than all the animals on the earth. And I hope, but I am not sure of it, that if we know, like we know all the things that will happen, that we can implant the changes that will occur. I'm not sure, of course, but the last time the people survived and they were able to give their descendants the information that in a far away future something the same will happen again, like what will happen in 2012. So that includes that the changes are not that dramatic, and that the memory is still valid after such an event.
Oh, great. So the fact that we are aware, we know what is happening, is to our advantage.
Yes, but I have to say, I don't know, but the people that didn't read my book, I will give an update. There was a high civilization on Earth that was very good in astronomy and in mathematics. There happened not a pole shift, but the Earth suddenly moved 72 degrees into the zodiac. And that was more than 20,000 years ago. And then they decided to build an astronomical building to calculate such an event in the future. And around 10,000 BC, they were aware that in a not a far away future, this will happen again. This is the story, in fact, of the Bible from Noah. But this is coming from a high civilization that escaped to Egypt. And this high civilization, they found out the theory of the sunspot cycle, and with that theory they were able to calculate the previous date. And so a large part of the people escaped, and they restarted the civilization in Egypt and with the Maya, and also in China and other places. So what we have from this is that high civilization can give to his descendants the information from a very long time ago. And I hope that we can do that again in